So, I have been away for quite a while. There's been so many things that have been happening. As you know, I have moved out. That's been a big thing. And the last time I uploaded a video was a good wee while ago. I've kind of needed just a bit of time to myself. I don't know if you've ever moved out. If any of you've ever moved out, you might know the feeling of, especially, I don't know about other things, but I've moved out by myself. And so there's kind of been a little bit of time where I've kind of been like, oh, I just want to be by myself. I've kind of been doing a lot of that. And now I'm back into life. So I feel more able to make videos and all that kind of stuff, but I just needed the time to kind of adjust to it myself, I think. And I now really enjoy being by myself, spending time by myself, and I'm gradually coming out into the world again, which is also nice. But I wanted to talk today about anxiety and moving out. I do a lot of videos on my channel about anxiety along with other things. Moving out is a really big thing, and doing it with anxiety hasn't been terribly easy, but I've managed it, and I really would not go back to living with my parents. I'm coping with it. So I kind of wanted to mention a few things that if you're thinking about moving out, or if you're thinking, or even if you're in a place where you're kind of like, I'm never going to be able to move out, don't worry, there's plenty of time, and these are some of the things that I have done that might help you as well if you're in a similar position to me. So the first one is, I've done a couple of vlogs where I stayed in an Airbnb by myself. I think this is definitely something that you should do if you're considering moving out, especially if you have anxiety, just to kind of test how you feel. I did it twice, both in my little small town, so I was only like a 10-minute walk from my parents, if that, maybe even a 5-minute walk from my parents, just so that I could kind of test how I felt about sleeping by myself, about you know, making dinner by myself, all of these things. They might sound like self-explanatory things to some people, they might sound like things that aren't that difficult, but for someone with anxiety, those kind of things are really hard, and a lot harder than you think. Obviously you can't get a full picture, but staying in an Airbnb really did help me. It really kind of made me feel like, oh, I actually quite like this, and I'd quite like to do it in a flat by myself. And that definitely kind of gave me the confidence as well to know that I was able to look after myself, I was able to do things by myself. So that's definitely something that you should consider. And don't try and push yourself and be like, right, I'm going to stay in an Airbnb for 2 weeks. I just did it for a few nights, I can't remember exactly how long, and that was enough to kind of show that I was able to do it. The second one that's quite important is stay at your parents' house whenever you feel like it. If you're in the position to be able to do that, I am, and when I'm feeling like this is too much, when I'm feeling anxious, if things are just like, oh, I will stay at my parents' house, and I'll go home and I'll have dinner with my mum and dad, and I'll stay there for as long as I like, and I don't put pressure on myself to be like, oh, I'm paying for this flat, or oh, I need to do this at the flat. I just give myself a break, and I say, okay, I'm at my mum and dad's, this is what's happening right now. There's no kind of like correct way to do things. I've just moved this camera a bit, so sorry if that's, the shot's just changed. There's no right or wrong way to do things. You just need to do things totally whatever you feel is right. You need to go with that. Don't put any pressure on yourself. Even if you kind of rent a flat and you feel like you don't want to stay in there ever, you know, maybe it's inconvenient, but you need to do whatever is right for you in that moment. So another thing is, think about anything you could do to make it more comfortable, especially for the first few weeks, maybe even month. Is there anything you can think of that would make it more comfortable? Would having a friend sleep on your sofa make it more comfortable? Would having certain objects make it more comfortable? Have a really good think about things that make you comfortable at home and why they're so comfortable at home. If it's things like your parents, maybe you can't take them, or maybe you can. Maybe you can ask your mum or dad to stay with you for a little while you get used to it. Is there certain routines that you have at home that you can maybe bring into your new flat? Is there new routines you want to start? Just have a good think about all of the things that you can think that would make it easier, even if they're things that are really silly, like a literal blanket that you want to wrap yourself in when you're feeling anxious, or if it's books that make you feel better. What kind of things usually calm you down when you're feeling anxious, and make sure that you have those kind of things available to you. A really important one, something you really need to think about when you're moving out, is make sure you're not doing it because you feel like you should. Whatever age you are, if you're 18 or if you're 45, it doesn't matter. If you're still living with your parents, that is okay. There's no time that you should move out. I felt like, okay, I'm definitely ready to move out, and I kind of couldn't stop thinking about the fact that I really wanted to move out. So I just knew it was the right time for me, and when I stayed in that Airbnb, I knew it was the right time for me. You might go and stay in an Airbnb and be like, oh, this is not for me at the moment. You just need to make sure you're not doing it because you feel like all your friends are doing it, so you have to do it, or you've got like people making you feel silly for still living with your parents. There really isn't a right time to move out, and this is if you've got anxiety or you don't have anxiety. It's a really big step, and it's something you can't rush into. You need to be really sure that you want to move out. Also, there's no kind of like, even if you move out and you really hate it, you can always move back home. It's not something that is permanent, that you have to do, and that if you once you're in there, that's you forever. If you feel like you're struggling, if you feel like it's just not something you want to do, whatever it is, you can always go back home. It's, you know, it's not something you have to do and you have to stick there and that's it for the rest of your life. Just take things as they come, and if you get to the point where you're like, nope, this isn't for me anymore, you move back home. There's really no pressure, and you just, even if other people in your life have that kind of pressure on you, make sure you don't have that on yourself. That's the most important thing. And lastly, I would say for the first, as long as you need, take it as slow as you can. Things like if you need to take a while off work so that you can kind of adjust to your new life, then do that. If you need to get more takeaway food and not cook as much so that you can kind of get the pressure off you, then that's fine. If you want to have a couple of weeks just watching TV while you settle into your new place, that's totally fine. Whatever it is that you feel like would help you, do that. Take it really slow. You don't have to have people in your space. You can have people in your space all the time. Figure out this is so new, you need to figure it out yourself. Figure out the best way to do it, and the main thing is don't put pressure on yourself. It's a very brave thing to do, and whatever way you want to do it is totally up to you. So I hope that this helped some of you. I hope this made you feel a little bit better about this kind of thing. This time a year ago, 2 years ago, there is absolutely no way I thought I would move out by myself. It's totally, sometimes I'm still a bit like, what am I doing? Where am I? If you feel like I am definitely nowhere near ready to move out, and I'm 25, I'm 30, whatever age you are, don't move out. That's just as simple as it is. The time will come and you will figure out, and you will know, you'll just know when the right time is, and you'll just know that that's what you want to do. Don't put pressure on yourself to do it just because of your age or just because everybody else is doing it or whatever. Just do what you need to do. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you soon. Bye.